What is a bond ladder? If you want to know the answer, then stick around till the end of this video. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Suited Keyway Show. How you doing today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous if you're to ask me. And if you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. Today I want to talk to you about bond ladders, and I want to help you discover how a bond ladder can help you secure the predictable income of bonds with what? The flexibility to reinvest if rates go up. This is kind of very important. Now, there are several reasons why you want to consider a bond ladder. You have better control over exposure to interest rate risk. This is very important for fixed income investors. You want to have predictable cash flow. This is kind of cool too, especially if you are thinking about having a higher proportion of bonds in your portfolio. You want to have a 60-40, for example, or 70-30. In other words, you're having 70% bonds and 30% stocks in your asset allocation strategy. And another reason why you want to consider a bond ladder is the opportunity to help manage an ever-changing interest rate environment. Let's first go back to the definition here. Let's go back to the basics. What is a bond ladder? So a bond ladder essentially is a portfolio of individual fixed income securities that mature on different dates. So this strategy is designed really to provide current income while minimizing exposure to interest rate fluctuations. So instead of you buying bonds that are scheduled to come due during the same year, you purchase bonds or CDs that mature at staggered future dates. So let's say you want to buy 5 bonds, for example, 5 bonds, and those 5 bonds are maturing. You want to buy 5 IBM bonds or 5 bonds from IBM, Facebook, Tesla, Intel, and Alibaba, for instance, and you want all those bonds to mature in 10 years. That's what a lot of investors will do. But so instead of doing that, you're buying different bonds. So you're buying the same companies, but you buy different bonds that mature at staggered future dates. So you can have, for instance, 2030. Instead of having all bonds maturing at the end of 2030, you're having bonds maturing. You have bonds maturing at in 2030, in 2031, in 2032, 2033, 2034. So that's what investors mean by staggered future dates. What are the primary goals of a bond ladder? But before I talk about the primary goals of a bond ladder, it's very important to understand so that before you want to opt for a bond ladder, you need to have a financial goals or several financial goals, and make sure you're kind of clear about why you want to set up a bond ladder in the first place. You can have a discussion with your broker, with your fixed income specialist. You can have if you have a knack for financial terms yourself, then you can do research and try to understand how a bond ladder will fit into your portfolio's strategy. A bond ladder is a great way to provide liquidity. So instead of waiting for 10 years to get your money, you're probably getting some money 10 years to get your money. Here we're talking about your principal amount, right? Because when you buy a bond, you actually getting interest payments every year or every 6 months or every quarter, depending upon the payment schedule that the issuer has actually stated. But the thing is, you have liquidity issues, and liquidity is kind of important. So if you have a liquidity issue, then you want to actually schedule your bond ladder so that the payments, so that the extinguishments of the bonds, the maturity of the bonds coincide with the periods where you will need cash. It's very important because liquidity is the first element when it comes to portfolio management. You got to have liquidity. Otherwise, you might be forced to sell securities that are otherwise pretty healthy or pretty profitable. But if you don't have the security, if you don't have the cash available, you might be forced to sell, especially if you buy those bonds on a margin, or So I just wanted to clarify that. So what are the primary goals of a bond ladder? So when investors talk about bond ladder, there are 2 primary goals a bond ladder can help investors achieve. Number 1, you can manage interest rate risks. So by staggering maturity dates, investors avoid getting locked into a single interest rate. Let me give you an example. Say you bought a single 5-year bond. If interest rates were to rise 2 years from now, the bond will still be paying interest at the lower rate. A ladder helps smooth out the effect of fluctuations in interest rates because there are bonds maturing every year, quarter, or month, depending on the number of rungs in the ladder. So, and those the number of those rungs depends on not only your own strategy, but also the tactic used by the brokerage or the tactic used by the bond issuer. So, when a bond matures, an investor could reinvest that principal in a new longer-term bond at the end of the ladder. That way, the investor will benefit from a new higher interest rate and keep the ladder going. If interest rates were to fall, unfortunately, the maturing bonds will likely be reinvested at lower rates, but the bonds at the end of the ladder will have likely locked in higher yields already. So the idea here is to, as I said earlier, not only to manage liquidity, but also to manage interest rate risk. So that's the first primary goal of a bond ladder: manage interest rate risk. The second goal, and I said before, there are two primary goals, right? The second goal is manage cash flows. So a bond ladder also helps to manage cash flows for particular needs. For example, since many bonds pay interest twice a year on dates that generally coincide with the maturity dates, investors can structure monthly bond income based on coupon payments with different maturity months as well as years. So the idea here is that, first of all, we know that fixed income investors are very sophisticated. They do much more. They do way more research than stock investors. And I'm not the one saying it. It was the Wall Street Journal who said it. So the idea here is that if you're able to manage, if you are a bond investor and you're able to manage interest rate risks and cash flow, you have taken care of two parts of the trifecta, the primary trifecta that affects fixed income investing. What is the third element here? The third element is credit risk. So as you are trying to, before you actually set up a bond ladder, talk to your financial advisor, talk to your brokerage fixed income, your brokerage's fixed income specialist to make sure that you're not only taking care of interest rate risk, you're not only hedging that interest rate risk and also hedging cash flow problems, but you are also taking care of, you're also identifying and taking care of credit risk. Let's get into the nitty-gritty here. How does a bond ladder work? So with bond laddering, you invest in multiple bonds with different maturities. And this is designed to give you the predictable income you expect from bonds, as well as the flexibility to reinvest your principal. So here is an example of how a ladder works. We're going to show this on the screen for you right now. So please look at the screen right now. So let's say the ladder today. So in this example, you buy, let's say, 4 bonds with staggered maturities. All right. So I'm talking here about the top part. So you buy 4 bonds with staggered maturity. So your combined average annual yield is 2.125%. So you have bond A 1% yield, bond 2 2% yield, bond C or bond 3 2.5% yield, and bond 4 bond D 3% yield. And the axis, the horizontal axis, is the years to maturity. So you have 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10 years. So that was ladder today. Now let's see again a hypothetical vision of the ladder 2 years from today. So in 2 years, when bond A matures, what happens? You reinvest the proceeds in a new bond, extending your ladder. That's what it's called ladder. As you can see, the visual representation of the graph here mimics a ladder. Okay, so when bond A matures in 2 years, you reinvest the proceeds in a new bond, extending your ladder. So you can continue to do this as bonds mature in the future. Remember though, I just want to clarify here. Number one, we're not giving any advice to you guys. We've done our research. This is for information only. This is for education also. Everybody's situation is unique. And please, if you need advice, it's better to reach out to a financial advisor. because this hypothetical example is for illustrative purposes only. It cannot predict or project the return of any specific investment. So while predictable, bond income is not guaranteed and is subject to call risk as well as possible default on principal and interest, which increases with lower rated securities. This is what I was talking to you earlier about credit risk. So you want to buy as many securities as possible to diversify your portfolio. This is very important. I'll be right back. Right after this, do not go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. How you doing today? We are still having a conversation around bond laddering, and I'm just trying to explain to you how what's a bond ladder and how bond laddering works. So the bond ladder itself is fairly straightforward to create. So the overall length of time, in other words, spacing between maturities and types of securities are primary considerations when building a bond ladder. So you got to pay attention to those three things. Very important. Length of time, the spacing between maturities, and the types of securities that you buy. Even in a low or rising interest rate environment, bond ladders can help to balance the need for income while managing interest rate risk. Let's talk about rungs. So you want to take the total amount that you plan to invest with the goal of extending the ladder as long as possible. For example, I would recommend a minimum of $100,000 to buy individual bonds, which could be invested with 10 rungs of $10,000 each. You can also invest $10,000, which would be invested with 10 rungs of $1,000 each. So an additional benefit to having at least 6 rungs is that you as the investor, you can create a ladder structured to generate income every month of the year. And again, if your goal is fixed income, if your goal is the low risk, if your goal is to have a high beta, then yes, you want to structure this rungs in that way. What about the spacing? So spacing stands for the distance between rungs. So this is determined by the span of time between the maturities of the respective bonds, and this can range from months to years. Now we've seen spacing going for 10 years, for example, but generally the spacing should be roughly equal. So the longer the ladder, the higher the income is likely to be, since bonds with longer maturities tend to offer higher yields. This does increase the interest rate risk, price sensitivity to changes in interest rates. So shortening the bond maturities generally reduces income and interest rate risk, but it allows the principal here it allows the principal from maturing bonds to be reinvested at higher rates should interest rate rise. So the bottom line here is you have to sort of play around the duality of return and risk. So if you have a higher return, then you have a higher risk. When it comes to bond investing, if you have a lower return, you have a lower risk, depending on the security. Either way, this is kind of analogous to equity investment, also stock investment. So this is something you have to play with and see what works for you. Let's also talk about materials. So just like a real life ladder, investors can build their ladders with different materials. So in other words, different types of bonds or CDs. It really depends on you. You have to analyze what works for you or what doesn't work for you. So investors can also utilize the potential tax advantages of municipal bonds, aka munis. You also have the credit guarantee of US Treasuries or the generally higher yields of investment grade corporate bonds. So as each bond or CD matures, you want to reinvest the principal in new bonds with the longest term you originally chose for your ladder. So if interest rates were to move higher, you can do one simple thing: just reinvest at higher rates. And if rates fall, you just have you'll still have some bonds locked in for the longer term at higher yields. So it's really important, before you get into the nitty-gritty of this laddering thing, folks, to consider the risks of investing. And you got to manage risk. And how you manage risk, you need to know what kind of bonds you're getting yourself into, what kind of bonds you are buying. I was speaking earlier about having the materials, right? So you're having different types of bonds. When it comes to bonds, you have high yield bonds. Those are investment grade bonds. High yields bonds are the investment grade bonds are the bonds that are issued by the Facebook of the world, the the Twitter of the world, the big companies, the GE, the IBM, the solid, financially speaking, companies of the world. So that's for investment grade bonds. You're talking here about AAA, and remember that the rankings, you always want to check the rankings issued by the trifecta that cares about the bond, the fixed income market. I'm talking here about S&P 500. Sorry, I'm talking about Standard & Poor's, not S&P 500. I'm talking about Standard & Poor's. That's one credit rating agency. Another one is Fitch, and the third one is Moody's. So you really want to pay attention to those three agencies as they issue their rankings to sort of know where in the hierarchy the bond you are about to buy falls into. So that's for the investment grade bonds. You also have the high risk bond, the high yield bonds. Those are bonds that are issued by financially shaken, financially unstable companies. So they're compensating investors for the instability of their business by increasing the yield. And when it comes to CDs, CD stands for Certificate of Deposit. So this is also a great way to have a ladder in your portfolio, so that you are not only managing interest rate risk, you're also increasing the cash payments, the liquidity level of your portfolio. I'll be right back right after this. Do not go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. We are still having a conversation about bond laddering, and we're about to close today's conversation here. One thing I want to say before closing today, though, folks, it's very important. If you're out there listening to me right now, and you have understood the issue of bond laddering, and you are ready to take action, or you're not sure what to do, please do your research. And if you don't have the time nor the resources, I'm talking about either passion or interest for this fixed income topic, reach out to a financial advisor, or you can even reach out to your brokerage, the brokerage where you currently have an account, and ask to talk to a fixed income specialist, because this kind of specialist, they can provide personalized assistance on pricing or any bond investing questions. So, and the great thing is those specialists, especially if you work at a big, if you have an account at a big brokerage, you would see that fixed income specialists work directly with the trading desk to locate hard to find issues. They can also seek better prices for you. They can actually, especially if you want to buy large block trades or securities that have a specialized criteria, they can even also have if they don't have the portfolio, let's say you want to buy a bond and they don't have that bond because you need a bond in your bond laddering exercise, and the brokerage where you have your account, they don't have the bond. They can actually reach out to other firms with which they have a relationship. So the bottom line here is that always go through your broker, trying to talk to a fixed income specialist, someone who understands the ins and outs of the fixed income game, and they can advise you. So if you are also, let's say you might be interested in selling your bonds, because you don't have to contact a fixed income specialist only when you want to sell, only when you want to buy a bond. You can also reach out to them when you want to sell bonds from your portfolio. So you just need to just reach out to them whenever you need help with acquiring or disposing of bonds. Thank you so much, folks, for today's conversation. I really appreciated the attention that I felt from you. I will see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.